What up? It's TR. Today I'm going to do a full breakdown of my new single 23 featuring 12 Clouds. I'm going to walk through the lyrics and then I will walk through the production side of things. So some context behind this song. 23 represents the year 2023. I was about 5 years into my music career. I had been making beats for a few years, but nothing ever really was sticking. I was still in like a very weird place, just mentally, internally, and I had a lot of questions on my mind. I always do, but this year in particular was a big year where I kind of decided that I wanted to just get out more. For the last couple of years, I had, isolated, or I was just hanging around specific people. But the year 2023, I really wanted to just like break out of my shell and start living life a little differently. It was also the year that I decided that I wanted to be sober from alcohol. And so this year was like a very big year for me in terms of just like internal growth, and just looking back was kind of the genesis of an upwards trajectory for me as just a person, in both like maturity and just in experiences in life. 2023 was like also the year that I kind of started to look at getting into therapy and start diving into things that were inside of me that I hadn't resolved. That year was really a big year for me. And so as far as where I was at mentally, emotionally, that was the kickstart. So the opening line, "Young man doesn't know shit about life." I really felt as though I was behind in life at 23. A lot of my friends were, getting careers, getting married, progressing. And I just felt like I was really just sitting back and watching everyone else, lost in thought, like, what is time? If you know me, you know that time is a huge aspect of my concepts in music. I use references to time a lot, not only because it is an important thing in life to pay attention to the time, the energy that we give to things, but also it's a part of my artist name, TR, Time Runs. And that leads into the next line of like, what do I do when I can't get high? Choosing to get like sober, having that idea in my head in this year was like, okay, now that I've kind of stopped consuming specifically alcohol, it was like, how do I fill the time now? Realizing that there were so many distractions in my way, and that I was really my own worst enemy because of the habits that I had built up and the things that I was giving my time to, giving my energy to. They weren't paying off. They weren't helping me. Where do I go when I want to fly? Like, I'm just thinking of all of these things of like, where can I go? Like, what do I do without these things that I've relied on for so long to keep me going, to keep me in a creative headspace? Like, I felt like I couldn't write, I couldn't make good music. I was relying on these fillers or these things to put me in a space where I felt comfortable. And so not having those things in my space, I felt very uncomfortable. Thinking about winning, is it really for me? Wishing on a star that I just don't see. Wanting to progress, wanting to rise and grow and to win, to make something of all of this time that I've spent on music and investing in becoming a better person and just not seeing the instant results. I really started to question if I was even doing the right thing. Wishing on a Star, it's kind of a reference back to a song that I had on the very first album that I released called Star. But it's just the idea of like wanting to be more than what I was at the time. And so that line is purely a reference to that old song, and just like having these questions of wanting to be something. Skipping my heart, but I'm still on beat. Giving my all because I want to be free. For a long time, I just ignored emotional traumas that I had just suppressed. I had pushed away different struggles and different internal things, and I just was like using substances to keep them at bay so I didn't have to deal with them. I wasn't diving deep. I wasn't letting go. I just internalized things, which is, what I was taught growing up. I'm skipping my heart, but I'm still on beat. I'm still living life, but I'm just skipping what's inside. Giving my all because I want to be free. Sometimes I get anxious. Living in the fear of the future is dangerous. Constantly having these anxieties of worrying about the future, who I'm going to be, who I want to be. All of these things, constantly worrying, keeping me at bay. Looking back too far. Bars on cages. Stuck in a box blocks you from changing. So that's kind of like referencing to just like worrying about the past, being trapped by the past, and then, worrying about the future. They're dangerous things of when you're not present and when you're not with yourself in the moments, in the now. It's so easy to get distracted. And so this is kind of the midway point of the verse where I'm realizing that like, oh, these things are keeping me from growing and keeping me from progressing, because I'm looking back too much, or I'm afraid of what is in the future. And these things are really keeping me at bay. And I need to understand why I'm not progressing. And so asking these questions, then realizing this is why. Got to keep walking, got to keep talking, got to keep writing what's real, keep jotting. Got to stay true to the mission you started. Got to keep sifting. Don't conceal that knowledge. Obviously this is just kind of like, these are statements of saying like, I'm not progressing. I'm not feeling any better, but I have to keep going. Regardless if I see it now, the growth, I got to keep going. I have to keep walking. I have to keep moving forward. I have to keep talking. I have to keep, working through the things that are coming to my brain that, I haven't thought about in a long time. Got to keep writing what's real. Keep jotting. I have to pull out what's inside and write, put it in my music, talk about it, because it's really important to let those emotions out, to let those thoughts and feelings out. It's important to do. Got to stay true to the mission you started. Kind of a reference to wanting to make conscious music. When I started rapping, I didn't really understand at the time what conscious music actually was, but I had an idea of, I was on the right track. I just wasn't going in the right direction. Making conscious music, making music that's self-aware and vulnerable is, all that I try to do as an artist in hip hop and rap. So making music like that, got to keep jotting, staying true to the mission, got to keep sifting. Don't conceal that knowledge. Sifting is just, like you're filtering out things. You're to find, the gold beneath. Don't conceal that knowledge is just like, once you find these gems, don't conceal them from the world. Talk about them. And then the hook kind of comes into, won't you live with love? When you live with love, you give with love. Got to go live with love, and live with love. Got to go live with love. And so breakdown of that hook is kind of just me realizing that like there were big things in my life that were keeping me from loving, me, my friends, my family. And so it's kind of a song about, in its entirety, is about like letting go, and realizing that like regardless of my youth and my experience, like realizing that I need to move forward, I need to let things go, and that will lead to growth. At the time I was kind of obsessed over being something, being a rapper, being an artist, being a creative, like someone who people could look up to, and realizing that like now looking back, realizing that like I don't need to be anything. I don't need to be something, this tangible object or idea. I just need to be myself. And regardless if that's in rap, if that's in, the work that I do outside of music, like I just need to be myself in life. There was a night I was talking with Patrick, who is 12 Clouds, and I had sent him this song and I was just asking for constructive criticism. And I think he texted me back at like 4 a.m. He was on dad duty with his baby, but texted me back crazy early with this just like verse, which is his verse on the song actually. And it's such an awesome contrast to what I wrote. I took this perspective of being a young man, having all these questions, not really knowing where to go. And he took this perspective of an older man. Obviously he is older than me, but just he took the perspective of kind of validating these things that I talked about, like the struggles, the worries, the anxiousness, but then coming back with a grounding experience of like diving deep internally, having self-realization, realizing that like you are you inside, and there's beauty inside when we dive deep into it. And the only thing that we have to do is us. Like we have to be ourselves. We have to move accordingly. That was it. The verse was so perfect. And I remember I was like, that's on the album, like 100%. That's going on this song. I need you to record this for the song. So didn't even ask him to be on the song. I was just like, hey, check out this song that I just made. And then he writes this crazy verse that is like the perfect contrast to a youth, showing the youth and age and just the gaps between, in like the most positive way too. It doesn't come off condescending. It doesn't come off egotistical. It comes off very understanding. That's why I love working with him, as we see eye to eye on a lot of things, and it's great to have an understanding, a creative artist on this song. He killed it, and I'm very grateful. So yeah, that's the lyrical breakdown of the song. So the song that I found to sample was a song called Hula Eyes from the 60s, and it's a hula song. The piano was the first thing that caught me. I remember I was sitting here on January 1st at the studio, and I heard that and instantly just felt a connection to it. A very simple chop. The piano is literally the intro of the song. I just pitched it up, and then the rest of the song is like guitar and vocals, and it's pretty much it. Very simple chops.